We're back. We're back home. Man, it's been some time, you know? It's been some, ups and downs throughout Call of Duty. Figured, you know what? After, Black Ops 6, since it's right around the corner. I've been posting my shorts recently, some old clips on this game. Figured I'd go back and reminisce, any new subscribers now stumbling across me, or, anyone that just happens to look at this video just from one of the shorts I've been posting. This is my home. This is technically where I guess all of my I guess momentum has come from, whether that be with clips, just improving with sniping, or just hell, I don't know, just Twitter growth and YouTube growth. And my first ever actual real Call of Duty montage was ever made on this, so this is a good feeling. And I mean, I just literally just hit a clip coming back to this on one of my favorite maps, so I'm gonna let this play out. It was honestly a beautiful clip. I was having a rough time at the start before, not gonna lie, wasn't having much fun, but I got lucky. I'm gonna say that. I feel a little bit more relaxed, so I don't really kind of feel like I'm forced to hit a clip during this recording. This is just gonna be a nice reminiscent, we're back in the old days, before MW2 came out, before Vanguard even came out, before MW3. This is I think this is the best Call of Duty we've had. I think this is the best Call of Duty in the last couple years. I definitely do think it is. Obviously, it's got its own issues. Plenty of, actually, issues with this game that I'm not even going to go through, at least not yet. There were a lot of meta weapons that never really got nerfed, or it kind of just took months, and I mean quite literally months, for them to get nerfed or even acknowledged. This game all around was honestly, I think it held the great core values of multiplayer, especially coming off the backbones of fucking MW19. I know that that's like kind of a favorite in terms of bringing Call of Duty back, but I don't think it did justice or even had remotely any sort of relativity to the past multiplayers. I don't think that MW19 was that good at all. I was quite bored of that game. Did not have the core values of what made a Call of Duty multiplayer a multiplayer. This felt nice. It felt like a nice Treyarch game. Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, whatever, UAV or radar likes to actually work instead of being all twisted and broken. Sniper rifles were, sniper rifles to a degree. I mean, it did take forever, and each sniper rifle literally hit markered unless you were shooting them in the nipples or up, and even then you had to get a certain barrel, like one of the longest, the last barrel. You had to wait pretty much till you max leveled the gun out, and I'm noticing that they kind of went the same route with Black Ops 6, but I mean, it's alright. It's not too bad. Game is definitely by far, though, like the better Call of Duty in my opinion. I think this is like one of the better CODs that they've had in the recent years. I've hit many bangers on this game. I don't even mean to like act like I'm gloating, but I've had many hours spent into this game, and this isn't even my original account. I wish it was, but my original account ended up getting banned because of, like the zombie camos that came out, you were able to use over in multiplayer. That's pretty much what they banned me for, I guess. Like, they didn't like that I was using cooler camos than the game was giving me. It's not like I was actually hacking or anything. Struggling to hit these people. I was never a fan of ICBM. I gotta be honest. This map was always garbage. It's just a fucking circle. Constantly running around, chasing the enemy in literally a circle. And there's never really, I don't know, people got really lucky on this map. I never seemed to even get exposed to that amount of luck. I don't think I've even ever hit like an actual good clip on this map. Maybe a quad head, but that's about it. Like, definitely not something that you would use. Like, this is not a good map in the slightest. I don't think this map is good at all, but it's all right, It's okay. We play one bad map at a time. I want to hit something with headshots now. Because I feel like, that would be nice. Fuck me. Fuck me. Yo. Are you dead ass? Yo, he chased me that whole way. What an absolute fucking weird... Okay, I just spawned. Holy shit. Yeah, this map is no good. No good. We're out. We're out. Not dealing with that. ICBM is always garbage. Especially once they start throwing the Molotovs and smokes. Especially those smokes, man. I hated the smokes in this game. Smokes really did, like, drastically change not only the flow, but how people just started running around the map and, like, just the different lines of sight. And you would think, obviously, smoke does that, but... Dude, they lasted so long, and they were like big smoke. Yeah, still suffering from that broken rib. Man, does it hurt every time I cough. Which, by the way, I don't know if anyone has experienced this yet or known anybody that's kind of going through this. There's a weird virus going around. A weird coughing virus, and it's only got to do with, like, coughing. It's not, like, nasally. It's not, you know, you get, like, chills or something, like a cold or, like, flu or COVID. Nothing like that. It's just in the throat. Like, it started off with a phlegmy cough that would just, like, towards the tail end of it, it would taste almost metallic-y. Not fully like blood, but it had, like, that metallic metal taste in it. And it was, like, it was a very weird taste. And then my nose would kind of run if I started coughing a little bit. I would blow it out. But then the phlegm kind of turned into more of a dry cough. And, yeah, after that, it was uncontrollable. And by uncontrollable, I mean, like, as soon as I felt this little tickle, and you know that little tickle that's, like, right about here, somewhere around here, where you subconsciously cough, and it's like that, you know, it just snowballed down into, like, complete death. And it lasted for about, like, 4 solid weeks. I'm still in my 4th week. I might actually be coming up on, like, the 5th week now. But it's lasted me a good solid month. I went to the urgent care for this when it first pretty much, like, really started getting bad. And when it was getting really bad, I felt a pain over here. I felt, like, a really, like, sore... felt like a muscle at first, pain. And, you know, they x-rayed me, checked my lungs to see if there was fluid in the lungs, see if there's any sort of weird infection or inflammation. They didn't notice anything like that. They said my lungs look... Dude, he hit every shot. What? Yeah, they checked my lungs, they checked my ribs, they said I was fine. That's the problem. They checked not only my ribs and my lungs and said that was fine, but I went through, like, the 2nd week of me having the painful cough, of me just kind of, like, pushing through and, you know, just getting through whatever that pain was. Well, I ended up going to work one night, on a Friday night, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I work overnights, so I'm pretty much there pretty late in the day. And at this point, I'm, like, coughing, I'm struggling, I'm feeling the pain in my ribs as I'm coughing, any sort of, like, struggle. And I don't know what this is, but at some point during the cough or the infection, there was one point where it kind of suffocated me. And by suffocated, I mean suffocation. Like, I mean, it felt like food was lodged in my throat, and that was it. I couldn't breathe. I was wheezing, and then at a certain point, there was, like, no airflow. There was nothing. There was no airflow whatsoever, and it was just... I thought I was gonna die. I felt like a piece of food got lodged in my throat. Yo, these people are fucking wicked. That gun is still overpowered. This is one of the guns that was, like, absolutely melting people ever since it was added. Along with that gun, the Tech 9. They're, like... And, you know what's crazy is that they've nerfed that gun, and it still, like, behaves as it used to. it felt like phlegm was coming up in my throat, and as I'm coughing, this phlegm is working its way up, and it doesn't feel like a throwing up feeling. My friend Rock said it felt like he was gonna throw up. I didn't ever feel that. It just felt like there was something like physically in my throat just blocking my airway, and it just was not letting me breathe. It would come up and just block my throat. It was scary, and honestly, it got me thinking about my life, and I'm not gonna lie, it got me, like, now concerned when I'm older age and I'm weak, you know? Because I'm gonna be honest, man, I don't think I would have lived if I was maybe, like, 60, 70 years old. I probably would have died. I'm not gonna lie. The suffocation was so real. I literally bursted through my parents' like door in the middle of the night because I was like just dying. I was literally dying. It felt like I was drowning on my own mucus. It was one of the most uncomfortable and weird feelings I've ever felt. And the fact that the doctors quite literally just shrugged it off as like, oh yeah, it just sounds like nasal drip or like some bad congestion or maybe like some allergies because, you know, it's tail end, seasons are kind of changing. But, you know, I kind of get seasonal allergies, and I was able to immediately tell that this was not anything like it was, like, ever. Like, it was something completely different. And I'm noticing everyone at my job is getting this. Everyone that I've not really even been around, but just know, is kind of knowing people that are either experiencing or, like, going through this similar cough. It's very odd. I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. I ended up going on Reddit, you know, as all great places of information. It's all over the place. Like, they just keep saying exactly what I was experiencing. This lobby is sweaty as fuck, bro. This lobby is awful. Yo, those meta weapons have never changed, bro. That gun right there and the Tech 9. Retard, especially in the hands of a camper just sitting behind cover. Oh yeah. I think today's gonna be a little bit more of a shorter video. I'm not gonna lie though, even though I did hit the clip before, playing that game out and the second game out and realizing how sweaty both games are, I don't know if I kind of want to keep playing. I'm gonna be honest though, with that cough, it still isn't gone. And when I went to the hospital on one of those overnights, on that Friday overnight, I ended up coughing and into a coughing fit that I was mentioning to the point where I'm choking. My manager noticed. She called the ambulance. Long story short, they came in and asked me some questions, took me to the hospital, boom, bam. Got more x-rays done, told them everything about this cough, everything about this whole suffocation, how it's congestion. It's just like a weird object in my throat that comes up every now and then, and it blocks my airway. I ended up getting x-rays, and that's when they noticed that that pain that I was feeling in my side over here wasn't a pulled muscle that the urgent care suggested. It was a broken rib. Yeah, a broken rib. And they come in and they're like, well, Mr. Matt, I don't want to say my last name. They're just like, yeah, looks like you coughed yourself into a broken rib. And I was just starstruck. I was like, whew, excuse me? I was like, are you serious? But I mean, knowing now what the pain was, especially when I was working through it and hiking through it and just doing normal things and coughing and sneezing, I could definitely tell that was definitely a broken rib. And I could even feel almost like the lump where it is, like the slight unevenness. It's very odd. It's a weird pinching consistency. And you know when you pull your knuckle and it doesn't crack, but it like comes out of your socket and you can almost feel it kind of clicking and stuff? That's what happens with my rib now if I were to just cough or sneeze or any sort of weird like movement. Very odd, very uncomfortable. I'm kind of getting through the cough now. I still, obviously, as you can see, I still kind of struggle to hold the cough down. It's not nearly as violent and as aggressive as it was, and as like unstoppable, and as, I guess, deadly, because I haven't suffocated since like I think a week now. I know many people with this. I know many people that have experienced this, and the doctors just kind of shrugged their shoulders at me, They forgot all the shit that I told them about, and they were just talking about my rib, and they just, like, you know, dismissed it. They were like, oh, it doesn't seem too bad. If there was anything major, we would have seen it. Respiration doctor was that she was gonna look at my x-rays for, like, the next a day or two, and they were like, if we see anything bad, we'll call you. And yeah, it's been like a week, so I don't think there's anything in my lungs. I think it's just quite literally some weird thing on my throat. They gotta take x-rays of the throat, man. There's something there, and it's with every person. They have the same symptoms. It's always the same symptoms. Recommend you searching things on Reddit? Not at all, but I'll let you know, it definitely didn't make me feel alone. There were a lot of people experiencing it, and still to this day responding to what I said on there. And they're like, dude, how long does this last? Because I have exactly what you have been telling me, and it's still going. It's miserable. It's actually miserable. The urgent care gave me this thing, which, by the way, when I wasn't suffocating, it kind of helped me kind of open up the passage. But when I was suffocating and I couldn't, like, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't. It was like that. Like, it was closed. That shit was useless. I was just quite literally just suffering there for 20 to 30 second increments of, like, just random periods during the day / week. It's just, like, absolute, like, mayhem. And my manager's forced me to come in now with the broken rib. I've been calling out for several days now, only because of the coughing and the broken rib, but you know, just gonna have to work with the broken rib. I mean, I managed to push through it before in its worst state, but I don't know about you guys, but bones take about 6 to 8 weeks to heal, and it's only been 2 weeks since I was notified, and I think 3 weeks in total. So I'm like not even really halfway there, and it's not even fractured or cracked. It's completely severed, so it might even take a little bit longer than 8 weeks to heal. So, you know, there's really not much I can do. I can't lift heavy things. I can't, you know, obviously do some, like, jerking motions. No pressure on the ribs. It's fucked. Other than that, you know, I'm glad I survived. If anyone that you know is experiencing this cough / whatever this virus is, let me know. You know, you're not alone. Don't worry. You're not alone, and you will most likely live, unless you're like 70 or you know, 80 years old. Not gonna lie, I probably would have just collapsed. Like, I just would have died in my sleep, which, you know, it just sounds horrible. Me down to my other thing before I leave. I just want to let you guys know, I don't think people die peacefully in their sleep. I think that's a myth. Or honestly, I don't even think that's a myth. I just think that's false information. Like, they just walk into their room and they see him dead laying, and they're like, oh, they died peacefully in their sleep. But, no, I'm gonna tell you why I think that's false. Is I woke up in the middle of my sleep with the cough, like, suffocating. And if that lasted any longer, or if that was a weaker individual, even with a weaker immune system, or just a weak heart, you know, they could go into, like, cardiac arrest. Or anybody that really goes and dies in their sleep usually has some sort of aneurysm, seizure / stroke / like, heart attack. They don't just, like they're dreaming one day and you know, in their sleep, and that's it. They just stay like that. I think they wake up for a moment, like, twitch out for a bit, and, like, either can't breathe or they're just tweaking, and then they're like, nephew Johnson comes in the room, or son Steve comes in, and they're like, oh shit, they died in their sleep. Well, what a peaceful way to go. That Grandpa Jenkins suffered about, like, 3 to 5 minutes of just, you know, dying alone in his bed. Yeah, I don't think dying peacefully in your sleep, at least, is a real thing. I think that's a fallacy. And I kind of experienced almost not near death, but what it's like to wake up and you're just like, I don't mean to burst people's bubbles, but just giving some information, you know, maybe it make you think outside the box, or, you know, from one's experience to take into the conscious mind and, you know, evaluate it with an open mind and decision. Other than that, I mean, so much for the recent support. Thank you guys so much for checking out not only my recent videos, but also some of my older ones. I'm seeing that they're even getting some views now. I just appreciate it. Like I said, my problem is consistency, and if I can't upload a video like daily or every other day, it's gonna be shorts daily. Obviously, as we're getting closer to BO6, I'm gonna be uploading more and more and more. And once the game's out, I mean, we're gonna do campaign playthrough, and we're just gonna do multiplayer. I don't know, cutcom, trying to hit a clip like we did today, but you know, I hit it before I started recording, so it's all right. But thank you guys. Thank you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.